Well, good morning, everyone. I'd like to welcome everybody here. We have a number of guests and announcements, and I'd like to start this morning with Cindy Scanland from the Allen County Children's Services for some remarks about the levy that's on the November ballot.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning. I'd like to first start by thanking the community for their support over the years of our agency, Children's Services. The levy on the ballot that you will see this Tuesday originated in 1985 and has been successfully renewed since. The levy is one of two that support the agency. Combined, they represent approximately 44% of our revenue. It's a renewal levy, thus representing no tax increase. In the last 5 years, we've experienced considerable cuts to the federal and state funding allocations, while our abuse and neglect reports have increased from 2008 to last year, 2013. In 2008, we had 571 reports of abuse and neglect, contrasted to 2013 last year when we had 967. So this year so far, we're projected to hit over 1,000 reports of alleged abuse or neglect. The monies generated by the levies allow us to deliver services to some of the most vulnerable residents of our community, abused and neglected children. Our mission of strengthening families in partnership with the community makes it possible for us to continue service provision with no tax increase. Our goal is to deliver the most efficient services possible while maintaining our focus on reducing risk and ensuring safety of children. This is achieved in part by partnering with our community service providers so that services are not duplicated. We share the common goal of strengthening families so that we may reside in a stronger community.
Could you comment on the success that the agency has had with its foster network?
Certainly. We have approximately 55 foster homes that are licensed through the Ohio Department of Job and Family Services. And in the event that children are not able to be safely maintained in their own homes, we utilize our foster homes network or local families. And the families that we also service through our foster care system that's who provides the direct care to our kids.
It keeps them here in our community.
Keeps them local.
And then you've also, my recollection is that you've also expanded the reach to other members of that child's family in a very successful way.
We have. In the event that, again, a child is in need of removal, one thing that we have piloted this year is a kinship foster program. And it's NFL, Network for Life, and it looks at, in the event that a child is removed, we identify relatives, kin, may not necessarily be relatives, could be neighbors or friends of family that have a prior relationship with the child to look at possible placement. So that actually we look at prior to placing in a foster home, because it just maintains the continuity of relationships for that child, which is ultimately better down the road.
And then the agency has also really been successful with adoptions.
We have. We have some of the adoptions in the last 3 to 4 years have been incredible as in respect to the age of the child. Generally, when you see children that have been maintained or existed in the system longer, behaviors increase, special needs are increased, making them ultimately more difficult to be placed in a permanent home. The agency, through their foster program, most of the foster families are also approved through the Department of Job and Family Services to adopt, have adopted teenage kids, which is just, it's remarkable whenever permanency could be achieved for a child in their teens.
That's right. Okay. Thank you very much.
Sure, thank you.
I just want to urge city and county voters to really understand the necessity for the levy, but also the success of the services provided by Allen County Children's Services. Their track record is impressive. Their work is essential. I mean, kids are in danger in our community, and our police departments, sheriff's department are constantly coming across circumstances where the situation of children is really dire. So we have to understand that this is a local responsibility more and more. Less and less of the state and federal funding is available, and we need to do our part to make sure that these situations are dealt with. I want to encourage everybody to turn out to vote on that levy next Tuesday. Or actually, if you can go right now to the Allen County Board of Elections and vote between now and next Tuesday as well. So please do, and please support the levy. Also this morning, we have representatives here from CESA. Kathy Beuscher and a number of company representatives are here to talk about and celebrate a really terrific milestone. Kathy, come up. In this very unique partnership between education and community industries. Kathy?
Right. Like you said, my name is Kathy Beuscher, and I'm the CISA teacher in residence. CISA started in 1989 when there was a need for people to get jobs in the science field, and that they weren't really going that way. They weren't going in that direction. So what we did, the BP Chemicals and the Lima Refinery decided to get together some hands-on lesson plans and bring those out to the schools in all of Allen County. Well, since then, obviously, 1989 was 25 years ago, and since then a lot has changed. First off, there's new companies that sponsor the program. We have Husky Energy, Ashland Chemicals, Fort Amanda Specialties, Potash Corps, Ineos, Lindy Gas, as well as the Allen County Educational Service Center. They provide not only the money for sponsoring these programs, but they also give all the ideas. And most of these programs have been invented by a lot of those people that work in those companies. Well, they're hands-on, like I said, and that's the point, is to get the kids excited about science. And we're hitting the kids and the students in the schools because we want them to grow in the science field, and we're exposing them to different science careers. And we're always told that kids only know what they learn, so we're kind of teaching them different aspects. And I brought some examples, if I can show, of these hands-on kits. They're all hands-on. They provide information that the students are already learning through the teachers, and all these have been correlated to the Common Core standards, which all the schools are upheld to at this point. One of them that I bring out is an animal habitat one, and I actually start off in a gorilla costume. This is usually for kindergarten through about 3rd grade, and you start with this, and the kids kind of look at you, obviously, like something's wrong with you. And then they realize, you ask them, why wouldn't you see a gorilla in their classroom? Why aren't we adapted to live, a gorilla adapted to live here in Lima, Ohio? What is my natural habitat? How am I adapted to that? You talk about camouflage, and then you talk about other things that, with the adaptations and things that infect your environment. So that's one of the kits, and there's also feet and hands with that one. Another one I have is exploring electricity. So there you can talk about maybe becoming a veterinarian when they grow up. Here you can talk about becoming an electrician. You can talk about becoming something with engineering. You not only talk about electricity and how we use electricity, but you let them explore with it. They get those hands-on feelings with it. You make simple circuits. You talk about conductors, insulators. They get to test different conductors and insulators. That way they get a chance, that hands-on approach. We want them to use that critical thinking, think outside the box a little bit. That'll help them grow and, like I said, just explore. And this critical thinking doesn't just fit with the science field. It will go across all the educational fields. And every teacher loves it when that happens. And then when they grow up, they'll use those same skills. So that's another one we do. The older classes get to make earthquake-resistant structures. That's one of their kits. And they get to make them out of these tools. We have gumdrops, we have marshmallows, they have toothpicks, they have stir sticks. And then we put them on a shake table. And now I actually had some engineers help me design the shake tables, and they're my brothers actually. But they helped me out with these. And so they'll actually shake them and see if they can last, for a minute with it. And the point of that is it gives them that information, and it also makes them work in groups. And part of getting any job, and like I said, we're kind of focusing on the science field, any job is being able to work with other people. So a lot of these kits make them collaborate with each other, just like these companies are collaborating to help out with this whole program. One of the favorites that I get is one with weather. We talk about different types of weather, what influences weather, what impacts the different types of weather we have. Well, at the end, then we talk about the clouds and different types of clouds that we have. And instead of just talking about it, because everyone hears information all the time, you know, people learn different ways. People learn by reading, some people learn by listening, some people learn better by doing. Well, after we talk more about the clouds, I use dry ice, and obviously when I bring out my presentations, I make sure everyone knows you have to use proper precautions so no one gets hurt. So I use my dry ice, and I'll put it in a bucket of water. And actually let the students come up, grab a cloud, and let it go. So they get to carry a cloud back to their classroom. Now this is so much fun, and the students, who has a chance to do this? I mean, I was 34 before I had the chance to hold a cloud. I'm aging myself. Okay, 34 before I had the chance to hold a cloud, and now they get that chance. And it's just like a regular cloud. It's formed the exact same way. It's just not as cold as the clouds up in the atmosphere. So we do all these hands-on things, and we can get to each classroom 2 times a year, and it's all the Allen County schools, so it's not just Lima City. Some people assume it's just Lima City, but I go out to Bluffton, Spencerville, Elida. You hit all of those, and like I said, 2 times a year. The great things with the companies, they actually encourage their employees to come out with me. So that way the students have not only me as a teacher, they also have somebody else who's an engineer, an electrician, a scientist. Some of those people actually did create these kits and have been around since the program started. And these people not only have more information to offer for the program, but they end up being great role models for those students.
And the milestone that you recently met.
We're celebrating 300,000 students that we've met. And the great thing about this program, not many educational programs can say they do that. And it's free to the schools. So that's another thing with it. And that's with reaching that number. All these companies provide everything for it, the chemicals, all the supplies. The school, all I need is a room and a teacher to be present, and that's it.
Terrific. And how many teachers and residents have there been?
There have been a lot. Used to, we switched every year, and this is my 3rd year of doing this. One of the things that's getting harder because the schools are upheld to such standards now that they have testing, and they want their teachers in there to teach the children, the students, and keep them informed. So it's hard to replace them. And I am a certified teacher, so that's why I can continue this position.
It's an awesome display.
Thanks.
I'm not sure we've ever had Halloween here.
You can hold the cloud too. Anybody can come up and try and hold it if they'd like.
Here in council chambers. That's very neat.
Thanks.
So, Paul, anybody else? Do you have any other comments about this?
There's been 20 teachers, I think.
20 teachers over the years.
All right.
Very good.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's great. We also have, it's a good thing they're here for this particular demonstration. We have the fire department here. So we have our fire prevention and fire inspectors here, Chris Jackson and Warren Pugsley, along with Dave Collins from the Red Cross, to talk about fire prevention and smoke alarms and all that kind of thing. Gentlemen?
Yeah, I like the special effects. Well, it's nice to be here this morning and talk about a collaboration with the American Red Cross and the Lima Fire Department on the Home Fire Preparedness Campaign. Red Cross has partnered with our local fire departments for decades. We have a special relationship with our Allen County Fire Departments and look at the opportunity to work with them. They've always supported us 100%. And of course, when our disaster action teams respond to our single-family fires here in Allen County, we partner with our fire departments to help those fire victims recover from that process. This is a prevention process, and I'd like to introduce Amy Campbell, who's our youth community preparedness educator with American Red Cross, and Chris Jackson from the Lima Fire Department to talk a little bit more about it.
Hi. The Home Fire Preparedness Campaign is something that was set up by National Red Cross headquarters this year. And the goal of the campaign is over the next 5 years to reduce the percentage of home deaths due to fires by 25%. This year, kicking off the campaign, we will be going into the top fire risk zip codes in Allen County and installing smoke alarms in those neighborhoods that are most at risk for fires. And we will also be going into schools in the area and teaching kids how to prevent home fires and what to do in case of a fire. So it will be a youth-oriented education program as well as a community education program. In the Allen County area, there are 3 zip codes in the top 10 fire risk zip codes of Northwest Ohio. Those zip codes are 45804 being number 1, 45801 being number 3, and 45805 being number 4. And that includes Toledo, Findlay. It's a big area. So for one of those zip codes to be in Allen County is huge. So in working with the Lima Fire Department, we're going to really tackle this problem and help people understand that fires are a serious risk to this area. And, you only have 2 minutes to get out of a house in case of a fire. And the misconception is that people have more than 5 minutes to get out of the house during a fire. So just teaching people the prevention skills and what to do in case of one is what we'll be doing.
Thank you. And I was excited when Amy approached us about doing this. What are we going to do? And I know the question's going to come out, what neighborhood we choose first and why. Starting next week, I believe is next. What's the date, Amy? November 9th, we're going to actually go out and do door hangers. We're going to hang door hangers in those neighborhoods. There's going to be a phone number for those folks to contact Amy, because what we want to do, we don't want everybody in the neighborhood calling saying they want a smoke detector. If they have smoke detectors in the home already, then we don't need to visit them. But those, we're worried about the ones that may not have them. In case you don't know, in the city of Lima, under our city ordinance, all rental properties have to have smoke detectors. The landlord has to provide them. We get a lot of phone calls from renters a lot of time express that they don't have a smoke detector, so we in turn usually get the number and call the landlord and say, listen, this is a responsibility by law that you have to do. Now, if our guys happen to go into a house and sense that there's some type of imminent danger, 5 or 6 kids there, and they feel like even though it's a rental that landlord may not come soon, we may go out in that house and try to give them a smoke detector. We've chosen this first round, we're going to actually go into the areas around St. Rose School and Independence, the 45801 area. And the reason we're doing that is that about a year or so ago, the Northside Neighborhood Association provided us with about 70 smoke detectors. They bought those, and their idea was that they wanted those dispersed in their community, in their neighborhood that surrounds their neighborhood association. So that's why we chose that neighborhood first. Amy's in the process also working with Walmart and some other stores of getting some smoke detectors donated. I believe it was Toledo, one of the other areas, had about 2,000 detectors donated in the past. So she's working on that process. So once that process is done, then we will go into those other zip codes that she mentioned. So again, on the 9th, we'll go out, we'll put the door hangers out. Then the following week, once she gets her response, they can call her and set up appointments, and we'll go back out with the Red Cross. They have some volunteers. We'll go back out with them and put these smoke detectors in. One of the other things I want to say is statistic-wise, there's 7 fire deaths in this country each day. 7 a day, 365 days a year, and a lot of people don't realize that. There's a fire every 90 seconds somewhere in this country. We haven't had a fire death here lately, but in my 20-something years of the fire department, I've had over 30, and I was telling somebody the other day, I can remember every single fire death. There's something as a firefighter, you never want to see in your career, and no matter how many you have, you remember each and every one of them. And one of the things out of that percentage of fires, probably 90% of them were avoidable if they would have had smoke detectors or working smoke detectors. This year in our Fire Prevention Week, the theme was working smoke detector. We've always asked, when we go to school, we ask kids. Now I ask you, how many people here think smoke detectors save lives? Raise your hand. All right, how many think they don't? Trick question, because that was our idea. In the past, that's what our thought was, smoke detectors save lives. Well, this year the theme was working smoke detectors saves lives. Because what we found out, we've had fire deaths in the past that after the fire and we do our investigation, guess what? We find smoke detectors. didn't save anyone alive. Battery was missing, they're taking them down, so the theme now, we're really pushing that working smoke detectors save lives. The particular smoke detectors we're gonna be putting in now is a little bit different. These are called 10-year detectors. The reason we went to these is because you do not have to change the battery. Most of these have a concealed compartment, so the residents or the person, they actually can't even take the battery out. They would have to actually destroy the smoke detector, so there's no way to take it out. So after 10 years, it'll make that beep, and they can throw it away.
It's not really what, it's not really. He'll be retired before
Yeah.
they need another detective, and that's be a part of the program. He set me up, he set me up.
So, yeah, so what's nice about these, again, you know, when it'll give the same chirp as a low battery in about 10 years, and they just discard and get another one. It has a special feature hush button. Someone's cooking and the detector. That's what most of the problems. Someone's cooking, they want to take it down. Now it actually has a hush button. They push the button. It stops the smoke detector temporarily from going off. Gives them time to open some windows and doors to clear the smoke out. If they don't, it'll go off again, and they can push the button again. So I guess Amy, she'll give the number real quick. So we're still looking for volunteers. If there's anyone in the community that wants to come out and help when it's time to install these.
I have a correction. It's not November 9th. I apologize. November 6th is a Thursday, and we will be going out at 9 a.m. into the neighborhoods around St. Rose and Independence, as Chris mentioned. And so November 6th, we will be hanging door hangers on people's homes, letting them know that we will then be in the neighborhood on November 13th installing the alarms. And there's a phone number that people in the community can call if they need help installing the smoke alarms, or if they want us to come and give them a smoke alarm. It'll be free of charge. We'll install it for them. And that phone number is just the Red Cross phone number. You can call 419-227-5121. And you can talk to any one of us, just, you know, hey, I'm in that neighborhood and I would like to set up an appointment to get a smoke alarm installed in my home. Yeah, and if anyone wants to come out and volunteer and help us go around on November 6th and November 13th, give us a call at the Red Cross as well, at that same number, 419-227-5121, and let us know that you're interested in volunteering and installing the smoke alarms.
Very good. Thank you.
How long will it stay like that?
I'm going to try some lines, so probably another.
You know, I thought that we had a chance if Mr. Pugsley was going to be contained, but he's irrepressible. So, lastly, Brett Rhoem is here from the Parks Department with information about basketball signups. You want to put that on?
Good morning. I'm here today to discuss our youth basketball program. Registration deadline is quickly approaching. This basketball program includes everybody. So if you sign your child up, they are going to participate in practices and in games. Games are played through the months of December, January, and February. They're played on Saturdays, and practices are in the evenings at the local elementary schools. The fee is $30, and the registration deadline is this coming Friday, October 31st. So if you want your child to participate, you need to get into the Parks and Recreation office. Forms have been distributed to the city schools. So if you want your child to participate, we ask that you get into the Parks and Recreation office no later than Friday. A skills session will be held in partnership with the coaches and the players from Lima Senior High School. That will be Saturday, November the 8th. Times are on the registration forms. Practices will begin December the 1st, and games will begin December 6th. So it takes about a month to put everything together, get the teams broke down, get a schedule done. So that's why the deadline is as soon as what it is. But if you have questions, you can contact our office, 419-221-5195. Also, yesterday we received quite a few phone calls in regards to trick or treat. Some people found some information on the internet that the trick or treat date had been changed. That is not the fact. Trick or treat will be held tomorrow from 6 to 8. Mr. Stolly told me before I come down that the weather looks pretty good. Highs in the low 50s to high 40s, and no chance of rain during that period. So 6 to 8 tomorrow night, trick or treat. And also, if you're in the parks and you notice that the restrooms are closed, with the forecast of weather being below freezing this coming weekend, the restrooms are in the process of being closed for the season. So those buildings are not insulated, so we got to get those water lines out of there before the kids bust. So again, if any questions on this, you can contact the Parks and Recreation office.
Thanks, Brad. I did see there was a lot of social media about confusion about trick or treat. I don't know how that happens. I mean, the date was set in common with all of the jurisdictions in Allen County, and somehow the rumor mill starts cranking out bad information. So this coming Thursday, we really hope the adults watch out for our kids. There'll be lots of kids running and enthusiastic and about being out, going door to door, and anybody who's driving at that time really needs to be careful. So we appreciate everyone's attendance this morning, and we'll break down for interviews. Thank you.